Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we have an interesting situation with Patrick Kane, as it sounds like the suitors have been limited to what we could see for a Patrick Kane trade, and things got even more limited the other day with the New York Rangers acquiring Vladimir Tarasenko. He was one of the prime targets of the Rangers, and Patrick Kane, that was one of the teams he was willing to go to. He said the other day he was kind of a little upset that was kind of how things worked out, and I think he was really hoping to go to the Rangers at some point here before the trade deadline. And well, with that said, that's kind of in the rearview mirror now, and it sounds like there are a pair of teams that seem to be still pretty interested in Patrick Kane's services. So because of the situation around Patrick Kane here with his health and the availability of a trade and his cap hit, things are going to be a lot more limited here for Patrick Kane to get moved. So I have one very interesting trade proposal, which is a three-way team trade, as well as another just straight up one-for-one sort of trade, one team and another team. So we're going to get into those today. So the two teams that we've been hearing the most around Patrick Kane are the Dallas Stars and the Boston Bruins. Those seem to be the front runners at the moment for Kane's services here ahead of the deadline. Now, like I said, the Rangers are off the board, so that's one less team in the running, which again, even with this, that's why I had to make a three-way trade here with the Bruins, because even at 50% salary retained, that's $5 million, they need more than that in order for the Bruins to acquire him, and it's probably going to cost the Bruins a little bit more, but it might not cost them that much more because of the leverage of Patrick Kane. He won't accept a trade to some of these other teams, and in all honesty, I think the only teams that have been linked that we've been really seeing any true interest from Kane would be the Stars and the Bruins. So take this with a grain of salt, but also consider the fact that Chicago might not get what they want here, not because Kane isn't a good player. We all know when healthy, Patrick Kane, what he's capable of. But the fact that there are going to be very limited suitors and Kane has so much control over the actual trade, it might be similar to the Tarasenko thing, where some fans might believe maybe we should have got more for this guy. And I think that's going to be the case here for Patrick Kane as well. But it's still a good trade, and we're going to get into it. So the Boston Bruins acquire Patrick Kane and only take on 25% of his salary, which at a $10 million price tag per season puts it at $2.5 million for the remainder of this season. Now, it would probably be even less than that once the trade deadline comes. I think the salaries go down even more than that, which is a good thing for the Boston Bruins. With that said, Chicago picks up 50% of Patrick Kane's salary, so they retain 50% of the salary, sending the rest of the salary to the Arizona Coyotes, which we're going to get to in a second. But Chicago retains 50% of Patrick Kane's original $10 million salary. Like I said, $5 million. A 2023 first-round pick, which is the Boston Bruins draft pick, and former first-round pick prospect Fabian Lysell. I think the Bruins fans out there are okay and willing to move on from him. They see what's ahead of them this season, and they think Fabian Lysell is maybe even a little bit overhyped and a little overrated, and I've heard that from some of you guys in the comments section. So maybe they are willing to move on from Fabian Lysell, and maybe that's the direction that the Blackhawks start to move their attention toward in terms of a potential return in a prospect. So to recap, the Bruins get Patrick Kane at 25% of his salary. Chicago gets 50% of Kane's salary, a first-round pick this year from the Bruins, and prospect Fabian Lysell. The Arizona Coyotes get involved in this deal somehow. They pick up the Boston Bruins' third-round pick in this year's pick because they have to have some kind of compensation, right, for taking on $2.5 million of Patrick Kane's salary. So basically what you're looking at here is Chicago trading Patrick Kane, retaining 50% of the salary, okay, sending him to the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona takes him at $5 million. Then the Chicago Blackhawks keep $5 million. Arizona then sends him to the Boston Bruins at their 50% salary retention, which is $2.5 million, leaving the Bruins only having to pay 25% of the salary. So in in the long and short, 50% of the salary is retained by the Blackhawks. They pick up a first-round pick, Fabian Lysell. Boston picks up Patrick Kane and 25% of his remaining salary, while the Arizona Coyotes get a little incentive here, picking up a third-round pick in this year's draft and taking on 25% of Patrick Kane's contract. So that's what you're looking at here. And that is the first one. Again, that's just a out-of-the-blue sort of thing, but I think Arizona would be one of the teams willing to take on the salary. They also pick up another draft pick, score. I would say that's a good thing for the Arizona Coyotes. Boston picks up Patrick Kane at a very nice, cheaper deal. The Blackhawks get a first-round pick and a former first-round pick prospect in Fabian Lysell, and that is the trade scenario. The Dallas Stars, what would it take for Dallas to get Patrick Kane? So they are going to take Patrick Kane and 50% of his salary. The Blackhawks retain $5 million of his salary at 50%. Chicago takes that 50% of the salary. They get a second-round pick from the Dallas Stars and Artem Grushnikov, who is a second-round prospect from the Dallas Stars and a left-shot defenseman. And that's it. That's all they get. So when you look at the deal, obviously I would say the Bruins deal is a lot better. You know, Dallas kind of shot themselves in the foot trading for Nils Lundkvist earlier this season. Kind of a mistake made there by, by the Dallas Stars management there, and they kind of have to pay the price for it. So Jim Nill no longer has his first-round pick this year. It's going to make things a lot more difficult at the deadline because that's really the best offer they can throw. Unless you throw Thomas Harley into that deal, which I don't think Dallas really wants to do, it's going to be really hard for them to get that deal done. I mean, maybe you get it done with a second-round pick and Thomas Harley, but even at that, Fabian Lysell and a first-round pick is still going to be more attractive to the Blackhawks. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the Patrick Kane saga in Chicago? It's going to be a tough one here for the Blackhawks. I think they're going to get, I kind of made this joke the other day. I truthfully think they're going to end up getting more from the Brandon Hagel trade last year than what they're going to get this year for both Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. And unless they're able to get a really nice package where a team is really willing to go all in for it, it just doesn't make sense for a non-healthy 34-year-old guy on a entry level, on the final year of his contract. Teams are going to be weary of kind of acquiring Patrick Kane and really his longevity with that franchise. He's definitely a pure rental. And Boston's in a position where they're willing to do that, and Dallas, to an extent, is willing to do that, but even them, they have some restrictions on their draft capital. It's going to make things very interesting, but let me know what you guys think down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Leave some mock trades down below if you agree or disagree with some of my mocks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.